Dragon has now disabled its thrusters in the so-called free drift orientation so that no inadvertent thruster firings will perturbate the grapple of Dragon by the robotic arm that has now been set in motion by Station Commander Butch Wilmore, operating from the robotics workstation in the cupola of the International Space Station. One meter now. The end effector is now over the grapple pin. And we have grapple at 4:54 a.m. Central Time, 5:54 a.m. Eastern Time. We have captured Dragon, 262 statute miles over the Mediterranean. The grapple occurring 18 minutes ahead of schedule. A perfect rendezvous for Dragon. Again, Butch Wilmore operating the station's robotic arm, grappling the grapple fixture on Dragon at 4:54 a.m. Central as the two spacecraft flew 262 statute miles over the Mediterranean.
Go for fast capture reconfiguration.
Houston copies and correct. Congratulations, Butch and Samantha. We'll call that one an OK3 wire. Everybody says, not bad for a Navy guy. The folks in Mount Juliet, Tennessee could not be more proud than they are right now.
We're pretty thrilled up here too, comrade. Hey, thanks for that. And like you mentioned, you cued it. So fly Navy.
And we apologize for Santa and his Dragon sleigh to be a little bit more on the Eastern Orthodox schedule and calendar, but definitely a huge congratulations and thanks to our friends at SpaceX for bringing to ISS such a beautiful vehicle.
We concur there, comrade, and congratulations, Hawthorne. Nice job. It's been a couple of days getting here, and we're excited to have it on board. And we'll be digging in soon.
And that exchange between Marine Officer Randy Bresnik, the spacecraft communicator here in Mission Control, and the Naval Officer Barry Wilmore, Station Commander, on board the cupola with Samantha Cristoforetti of the European Space Agency, referring to the supply of Christmas presents, making a belated arrival at the International Space Station, but belated nonetheless, in good shape, with a smooth and successful capture of the Dragon cargo craft occurring at 4:54 a.m. Central Time, 5:54 a.m. Eastern Time, as the two spacecraft flew 262 statute miles over the Mediterranean. And this spectacular view in high definition looking at the northern coast of Libya as the Dragon and the station fly in a northwest to southeasterly track across the African continent. Wilmore and Cristoforetti now will turn over the next hour and a half or so of operations to the robotics officer here in Mission Control, John Bellingham, who will take over with the remote commanding to maneuver Dragon into its pre-install position. You see the common berthing mechanism at the very top of the Dragon cargo craft. That will be aligned perfectly with the active common berthing mechanism on the earth-facing port of the Harmony module of the station. Ready to latch indications will be received here on the ground, and Dragon will be maneuvered in where the bolting of the spacecraft will begin. A series of 16 bolts in 4 gangs of 4 bolts apiece will drive Dragon to a hard mate to Harmony for the next 4 weeks of cargo unloading operations. The hatch to Dragon is scheduled to be opened tomorrow morning. However, if the crew continues to move ahead of schedule as it has been throughout the course of the morning, it is entirely possible that the hatch could be opened before the end of the crew day today. We'll have to stand by and wait to see how that transpires over the next several hours. In advance of that, however, the next major milestone will be to get Dragon installed and bolted into place on the earth-facing port of Harmony. Because the grapple occurred some 18 minutes ahead of schedule, we also will be advancing our coverage of the installation of Dragon from its previously published time, and we will be back on the air with our berthing coverage at 6:45 a.m. Central Time, 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time on NASA television. So to recap, Dragon completing a flawless rendezvous to the International Space Station, grappled at 4:54 a.m. Central, 5:54 a.m. Eastern Time, held in place firmly by the station's Canadian-built robotic arm that was operated by Barry Wilmore, the station commander, with the assistance of Samantha Cristoforetti from the cupola of the International Space Station. After a short break here, the robotics officer in Mission Control will maneuver Dragon into its pre-install position, and then finally it will be bolted into place to form a hard mate for the next 4 weeks of the cargo unloading operations, removing the 2.6 tons of supplies and experiments from not only inside Dragon, but also from its trunk in the form of the Cloud Aerosol Transport System instrument that will be mounted on the external experiment platform at the forward end of the Kibo module. We'll be back on the air at 6:45 a.m. Central Time, 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time with our installation coverage, so you'll want to join us for that. Later in the morning, Space Station Live at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So we'll be back in less than 2 hours for the installation of Dragon at the International Space Station. For now, this is Mission Control, Houston.
On two, question about the lab camera. Do you still want it in the same position, or can we go ahead and just put it back in its normal location?
You read our minds, Butch. You can put it back to the normal config.
There we go. Yes, go ahead.
All right, Commander. As well as the lab camera, all that minicam stuff from the cupola can be reconfigured. The CBCS power-up can be put into work anytime you're ready, as well as Samantha's Node 2 pre-gather All those immediate post-capture activities can be performed at any time.
On 2 for the hearing assessment.
Go ahead on 2, Sam.
I did the test this morning. However, when I tried to go ahead and save the results, I got an error message. If you like, I can read it to you right now.
We'll take it, Samantha. Thanks.